Hello and welcome back to Gooner Gathering. I hope all of you had a lovely Christmas, and it is now that weird period of the calendar year where we've got no idea what day of the week it is. But I tell you one thing we do know, and that is right now we are live, and tomorrow the Arsenal are playing, and that's why we're here. My name is Posh Bertie, the poshest man in all of sports entertainment, and joining me as always is Gooner Gathering's founding father, Mr. Gooner Lee Meads. Mr. Meadows, how are you today?
Good evening, everybody. Hello, Posh Bertie. I'm doing very well, all things considered. You know, you quite rightly mentioned it's that really odd time of year. We don't even know what day of the week we're on. But, 3 days away from the day job, if you like. Back to the grind. It has been a long day, ladies and gentlemen. But we are here to provide entertainment for the masses. We've got a few things to talk about. We shall look back a little bit at the Liverpool game from the 23rd. We'll have a little bit of a chat about a couple of things we might not have brought up on the actual live match itself. Keeping sort of half an eye on what's going on in the live matches tonight as well, and of course a bit of a preview going up for West Ham for tomorrow. But more importantly, Push Bertie, how was your Christmas? Did you have a good one?
It was fantastic. I ate lots of food, and well, that's the main thing, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's what I do every Christmas. I eat and I regret it afterwards because I gain about 5 million stone, which I plan to lose in the new year, hopefully. I also got a few presents. Clanging and banging, you know it, brother. I got a few gifts that I'd like to show you. I showed this to Lee when we went off air. I've got It's an Arsenal bottle. Yes, a bottle. I know you're going to make your jokes. But also, if you go behind, it says Posh Bertie on it. That was from my uncle. There you go.
Look at that. Personalised.
Yeah. That's, if I can just add you back in, because I want to...
yeah, of course.
I want to...
as you're doing that, I will say hello to BX in the chat, saying hello to everybody. And AFC always is here as well. Bertie doesn't know how to do this, does he?
No, it's fine. I've got it.
Well done, sir. Also, there we go.
I want to get your live reaction to this, right? So there's a...
I don't know what's coming here, ladies and gentlemen, so...
That's why. There's a lovely person that I know called Tom Tomasi. He is a trustee at a certain charity that I, quote unquote, work at for the events and everything. And not only that, but he, much like me, is a fellow Gooner, hence why we get along very well. And he's a season ticket holder, funnily enough, so you know he's loaded. And he also he's in touch with quite a few familiar people that we might know. He did a very generous thing. He gave me a Christmas present. It said, "To Bertie, happy Christmas, come on you Gunners," from Tom. Now, this might seem like this is a good present, but it's not all. It's Ian Wright's autobiography, but that's not it.
Oh, man.
I then go to the very first page. I'm going to have to cover some part of it up here in case of any forgery. "Dear Bertie,
no way.
You're a big fan. Ian flipping Wright."
Come on, Righty. Well then, how about that? Gooner Gathering alumni, Ian Wright in the building. Yeah, yes, sort of.
But there we go. That was absolutely surreal. That's Tom Tomasi, his name is. Who knows? If he's up for it, he might come on the channel one day. I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well, if he does, if he wants to do it, you know where to find us. It's at Gooner Gathering on the old X machine. Don't try and find us on Facebook at the moment, boys and girls. There's a bit of a technicality on the old Facebook that's gone a bit Pete Tong, but I'll talk to Posh Bertie about that in a little while. So
I'll say hello to everyone in the chat. BX is here. Good to see you. And AFC always. Hope you and your family had a good Christmas. We did. Thank you very much. And AFC always going straight in here saying Zinchenko will be the weakest link against West Ham. We will discuss that in due course. So, where do you want to start off, Lee?
Well, do you know, probably the best place to start is let's still go back to to Liverpool, and then we'll build up to West Ham, shall we? And we'll keep it relevant. We'll keep it with AFC always. Look, we discussed our worries about Zinchenko playing left back at Anfield. We've discussed Zinchenko's what's the best word? Deficiencies. That's probably the best word I can use. I'm surprised I come up with a long word like that at this time of day. But as a defender, look, I've always said this. As a player himself, with the ability that he has to pass the ball around, yeah, top quality. Is he a defender, boys and girls? And in the words of Les Dennis and doing Family Fortunes, it's a big fat.
That's what the survey says.
Not what the survey says. And when we did our preview, my dear brother joined us as he was getting ready for work. Big up to Nick, by the way. We had a little chat the other day, just as he got me out of bed unbelievably. But no, he didn't really. And he was saying that he would have played Kivior at left back, quite simply because we all need the defensive cover against Mo Salah. We all knew what was going to happen, didn't we? Even there's an interview going around. I don't know if you've seen this, Posh, and he's talking to, I don't know who he's talking to, but he's like, me pacing Mo Salah, not got a chance. And there you go. That's what happened. But the game actually started incredibly brightly. And let me tell you, my expert co-commentator, by the way, called it. And I as soon as I woke up from my power nap, I thought, oh, I've missed the kickoff here. And I turned over to see Posh Bertie getting rather excited about a Gabriel goal. Wasn't too excited because he was waiting for the VAR. I
also said we were 1-0 up at Anfield before, so let's not get too carried away. But yeah, even when they do that thing on the replays where they pause it and then they continue the replay, and the longer the pause is, I think, yeah, this is a VAR check. Yeah.
Well, they all are, aren't they? Everything that goes in the back of the net is allegedly looked at unless they forget to press the buttons. Let's be quite clear about that. Yes, absolutely. Quickest goal that we've scored at Anfield. Absolutely. I've seen that stat as well. It's got to be one of our quickest goals of the season in general as well, to be fair. But I always felt that we've always been very threatening, I think, in set plays this season, and quite rightly, because we've got some decent headers in the ball. We've got Gabriel who scored. We have Declan Rice around. Saliba, who's more than capable. It wasn't
who we missed at Anfield last season.
Absolutely. Some would argue that was the reason why we didn't hold on to the lead at Anfield last season. Is because the big man wasn't at the back. Sorry, Rob. I mean,
as far as I remember from that game, I thought Rob Holding held his own quite well. He wasn't mainly to blame for the capitulation in that game, anyway. As far as I remember, because I remember praising him a little bit last season at Anfield.
Goodness me.
Yeah. But anyway, it was Xhaka's fault. It was Xhaka's fault.
Absolutely, and aren't we looking forward to seeing Granit coming back home tomorrow?
Just as Havertz is suspended, is he going to a last-minute registration?
He's got to. Ready
Shane
to play,
McMahon
guys.
at Crown Jewel 2018.
It's a big return. It's the one everyone wants. Down your drinks.
It's water, by the way. Don't worry.
It's all right. You can drink what you like. You're a big boy, mate. You can do what you like.
No,
I'm on the apple juice tonight.
I've not reached the stage of getting drunk on stream yet.
What do you mean yet?
Not yet.
A 24-hour drinking stream coming up soon.
Oh, blimey! That's when we win the Champions League.
That's it. That'll be fun. Or maybe we'll do that on Twitch and people can donate bits for us to do it. But anyway, let's be professional about this. Come on, we've got a handful of people watching us. And if they are, if you could just press the buttons and hit the like, and I'm pretty sure there's at least 2 subscribers watching us. So if you could do the button, press the subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get us up to 500 subs by the end of the season. Wouldn't that be incredible, Posh? Anyway. But I can see Posh working very hard in the background, by the way. I know exactly what you're up to.
I'm just going to... I've got some photos that I'm going to add in the overlays regarding potential...
Not pictures of you and Miss Elizabeth, is it?
Oh, I don't think it is.
Oh, yeah. That's me being professional, as always. OSW review I've been watching again, by the way, guys. Anyway. Did
you see the one they did on Christmas Day? The In Your House one that they did?
I did. Yeah. Anyway, enough of this nonsense. So we went ahead in the game. It wasn't surprised to me that we scored with a set play. Ødegaard, I thought, was a bit Katy Perry in this game, mate.
Bit cold. Okay.
Absolutely. However, the first chance he had, the first real kick of the ball he had a decent delivery in the penalty area for Gabriel to leap like a salmon in, and he put the ball in the net. Talk to me about it.
Yes, the free kick came in from Ødegaard right near Gabriel, header in the box, and 1-0 to the Arsenal. I did, I was excited, as you know, but then I saw.
You brought yourself back in, though.
Yeah, I thought let's be calm here because the replay is pausing and they're going to check for VAR, and thankfully the lines were drawn and it was onside. Usually they're quite close, these situations, but I thought, it was the right call, and VAR got that one right, in my opinion. They got something wrong, in my opinion, but you might have some words to say about that regarding another thing about Ødegaard. But we'll get to that in
absolutely. Well, I tell you what, we're working well off each other, considering we're unscripted. This boy knows what I'm talking about. He's a good lad. That's why I have him here, But so obviously, Posh Bertie is referring to the Ødegaard handball incident. Perhaps in real time, because I hadn't quite joined the stream at this point, had I, mate? I was watching away with my daughter, just getting ready to jump on with you. Perhaps in real time, that first watching, it wasn't altogether clear, but I think Ødegaard turned into a juggler.
Well, he turned into Luis Suarez against Ghana for Uruguay, if you remember, in 2010. Although it wasn't that obvious. Well, here's the thing: there was a VAR check for a potential handball on Ødegaard. You have to remind me because I wasn't noticing, but then it showed the replay, and from what I saw, from the angles that they showed, it looked like he was doing his best Aaron Ramsdale impression. Martin Ødegaard.
He didn't throw it to anybody, though.
Oh, no, but Aaron
Sorry,
Ramsdale
fans, and I know there's a lot of them, especially in my channel here. I know that. It was a joke. I'm sorry. Don't hate me.
Hey, Matt Roberts, how you doing? But a great, phenomenal save from Ødegaard to deny. I personally, from what I saw, thought they were going to give a penalty for that. That looked like a handball. Yep. It may have been accidental, but a handball is a handball, and it looked, because it clearly hit his hand. I thought I was very
a couple of times.
I was very surprised that the ref didn't give a penalty for that. So that was a get out of jail free card in that game.
Yeah. Now I've taken the liberty of watching it back a couple of times, and seeing it on a replay or two, I can understand why it wasn't given. And there's a couple of things. I think Ødegaard was a little unbalanced on the moment of trying to get to the ball. And yeah, you're absolutely right in something you said there. It without doubt, it hurt Ødegaard. Now, what I want to say is, I think he was a little off balance because of the pitch. I don't want to drag too much into this because I think, much like Bertie, I don't like talking about excuses about why things didn't go quite right. The pitch was exceptionally watered. And I don't know if you've seen the pictures, Posh, right at the end of the game, the groundsmen, the guys who do that phenomenal work behind the scenes, all the grounds right at the end of the game, literally, it was like a swimming pool at Anfield. Literally, they're going through with their big old rakes and stuff like that. They're just pushing the water away. It was unreal scenes. I've never quite seen anything quite like that at that sort of level, which is one of the reasons I think Ødegaard slipped. Now,
you are reminding me of a comment from a certain other Arsenal YouTube channel that we're not going to mention, where someone said, "We mustn't forget that it's been raining." And then I'm going to quote the other guy that said, "It's been raining. It's raining for both teams."
Yeah,
and,
that's right. That's why. That's. Sorry.
Let's not forget, a lot of players tend to slip at Anfield. Just ask Steven Gerrard.
Wow! Tell me you didn't just say that. Okay,
that's
right.
For all the Liverpool fans in the WhatsApp group that you invited me in.
Absolutely. Good people as well, especially Uncle Rogers, who got me in there. And about 10 days ago, I was on their stream, and that was a good time. That was really good time. Actually, it was on us, but even that being said, yeah,
and that also was a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, had that happened in the Champions League, do you know what? I think it would have been given. I think the penalty would have been given. Now, if you ask any Newcastle United fan, by the way, look how hard done they were.
Yeah.
You're going to have to remind me of the. Was it Milan?
PSG.
I think it might. It's PSG. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you very much. Yeah. Whereas the ball hit their left back, and quite clearly, it hit his hand, but the intention was not. They don't seem to give a monkeys about intent in the Champions League at the moment. They just, equaliser at Palace. I'll get to it in a minute. But yeah, maybe we got a bit lucky with maybe a little bit of common sense. Although, especially pundits like Liverpool influenced people, like Carragher, who quite rightly called it himself, people are going to have differing opinions on it. I think we might have been a bit lucky, but then I can sort of semi-understand why it wasn't given. You have a response to that?
Yeah, I just think it's the lack of, talking about, I say this before, talking about VAR to me is like you when people mention Ivan Toney. You're sick and tired of talking about it and hearing about it.
Oh, you're not wrong.
But it's the lack of inconsistency. I know I shouldn't say this as an Arsenal fan, but I think it probably maybe should have been given. I actually did watch replays of this via the highlights. My stance still hasn't changed. But I think I agree. If it was in the Champions League, VAR is slightly better there, but that's like saying, comparing rotten apples to rotten oranges. I think it's, but no. If it was in the Champions League, I reckon that handball would have probably been given. The lack of inconsistency with VAR drives me crazy. So,
the lack of inconsistency, you just said. Interesting.
Lack of consistency. Sorry,
that's the one you mean.
They are consistently inconsistent.
That's a Matt Roberts quote. Absolutely fantastic. Yes. So let's lead on to the moment, obviously, that we alluded to a little bit ago. The Liverpool equaliser, Trent Alexander-Arnold, obviously a major threat going forward, particularly. Actually, the comparisons between he and Zinchenko, which you made on stream without me, I thought was an excellent point. Maybe both
not similar players. They're not similar players. I think Alexander-Arnold is better in my opinion. But what I'm trying to say is, going forward, they're both very good. Defensively, they can be a bit shaky. I know, but like I say, we get the same mistakes every week, and when new people come in, it's just, I don't know. The idea of itself, VAR itself, is a good idea, but it's I just don't want to talk about it anymore. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm not comparing Alexander-Arnold with Zinchenko before anyone gets their knickers in a twist. I think what I'm trying to say is, going forward, they're good. Defensively, they can be a bit shaky. But what Alexander-Arnold can do is put these amazing through balls into the box, which is what he did, which set up Salah's equaliser. And when you've got, it's the wrong Mr. Meadows, when you've got Salah against Zinchenko, it is only going to end one way, unfortunately for us. Mohamed Salah absolutely, I don't know. Oh dear, Zinchenko had a stinker, and Salah completely sent him to the cleaners. 1-1.
Yeah, absolutely. I've not really got much more to add on that. I was actually complimenting the boy here about his comparisons, and I totally get where you're coming from. Different players have different attributes, obviously, but I think both are stronger going forward than they are defending. Maybe it's the modern.
Yeah, I was just worried that it might get taken out of context and people are like, why is he comparing Trent to Zinchenko? Trent's a better player. That's not what I'm doing. I'm saying
of course not.
Going forward, they're good. Defensively, they are not as good as they are going forward.
Yes, completely agree with that. Then that was the end of the scoring. There were still a few other opportunities that, without having an awful lot more written down here, we could have made more of. I certainly remember a ball coming in from the right hand side, which was an excellent ball. It took all the defenders out of the game, but Martinelli was missing in action. Havertz was missing in action, where maybe the aforementioned Ian Wright, the natural goal scorer, would have been right up there, and there he is. All right, righty. He would have that instinct would have had him in that place to put the ball in there. That didn't happen. I think the major difference here is that I'll get to the comment in just a second. The fact that the timing of the fixture here is very different to last season. So we played Liverpool at Anfield in the run-in last season, right? And despite in normal circumstances, us would have taken a draw at Anfield, of course, right? We went 2 goals ahead at Anfield last season, which I foolishly, and look, I made a meme of myself on the channel here because I can take a joke about it, right? When Gabby scored the goal to make it 2-0, I'm like, that moment, I believe.
The Undertaker guy, when the streak ended.
Exactly what I was doing. That's exactly what I was doing. The difference here, of course, is it's not in April. We're just ending December. So that being said, it's not in the run-in. So perhaps the draw isn't. It was probably a fairish kind of result for both sides. I think both would have probably taken it. Maybe Trent Alexander-Arnold might have had something to say about it by absolutely smashing the crossbar like he did in that 5-on-1 situation, which he definitely should have made more of.
Yeah, that was a heart-in-mouth moment, really, wasn't it? Because I even said, "Oh, it's 2-1," and what? You know, that was my version of that you did when it.
I thought we called it brilliantly. By the way, we were together at that moment. I thought we leading the call. I thought it was fantastic that moment. I enjoyed it. But
Yeah, I thought it should have been 2-1 there. I mean, it could have been 3-1 if we weren't careful with the potential Odegaard handball. But at
Yeah,
this point in time, at time of recording in December,
yeah,
I will take the draw, but it depends on what some of our other results are going to be, if we can stand by what we said there.
yes. And that starts absolutely tomorrow against
Mm.
West Ham. In
Because
in
we dropped points last season by drawing against Liverpool, and we had West Ham next. Who have we got
what
next after
happened then?
Liverpool? But we're at home, so we'll see what
Yeah.
happens there.
So we'll get into West Ham in just a minute. Maybe before we go with that, perhaps we should probably mention. So in the chat just gone by there, we Chelsea won, Palace won. Modric did put Chelsea ahead, and it was 2 seconds. I did write it down. Oh goodness me! I've lost my page, Posh.
It was 3-1 to Wolves at half time against Brentford, and it's
Yep.
currently 0-0 between Everton and Man City with 12 minutes gone.
Interestingly, in the City game, by the way, if anyone who's watching didn't know, Haaland is missing in action, but apparently he may be back in January. I'm sorry, we had to win at Anfield if you want to win the league and win at the Etihad too. Look, I understand your point of view on that one, mate. And yes, of course, we would have wanted to win, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Let's say we have beaten City already this season. And really the only sort of drawbacks we have had, Newcastle and Villa, of course. And Villa are no mugs themselves, are they? Let's be fair. So I do understand your point. To complete what I was saying, it was Elise with the equaliser for Palace. Did you say 3-1 to Wolves?
I did, yeah.
Brentford. So let's go. Lemina and Huang with a double. Wissa got one in the 16th minute to make it 2-1. And Posh has mentioned 0-0 Everton against City at the moment. So obviously we'll talk a little bit about the press conference. Where have I put my phone? I have no idea where that's gone. That's a bit upsetting because I've got some notes written down on that. Never mind, I have got it there. Right. Let's read the comment here from AFC Always. And this is regarding the AFCON players that obviously are going to be unavailable quite soon, of course. So Tomiyasu and party situations remain the same. So, I mean, I've read speculation online. Of course I have. I'm sure Bosch has too. That Party's going to be in the squad and whatever. I doubt it. Very much indeed at this stage.
So Tomiyasu, I'm not surprised by either because he was going to be out for a while, and by the time he comes back, he'd go to the Asia Cup anyway. So,
well, that's where I have a little bit of a problem because how can you send? I mean, we've had this experience with us before this season with Gabriel Jesus in Brazil. Just had his injury in the Champions League. Really? Yeah,
depends when they're due back.
Exactly, but he got called up without even coming back for Arsenal. I can't see how why a player should come back playing for his international club or team. Sorry, before he's even played for his his employers. But probably another argument for another day. Right, okay, let's go through something that I've got in the WhatsApp group, and there's a few points that I wanted to bring up on here. Yeah, I've got it written down on there as well. So let me refer to my pen and paper. I am a little bit all over the place here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, but I've been back at work today, so let's drop me a little bit of bit of support here, guys. I suppose the big point. We are obviously going to have a big change in the starting lineup tomorrow because as we discussed, Kai Havertz is suspended for tomorrow's game. So I suppose the big question I will ask Bertie now is, who do you go with, mate?
Well, I am going to steal a segment that I have stolen from Goal Art. So shout out to Fran, by the way, lovely content creator, brilliant person on this channel as well. Where I've got two lineups in the back end here. One where not what I think will happen, it's what I want to happen. And another where it's not what I want to happen, it's what I think is going to happen. We'll go with the lineup that I want to happen. That I want to see. Is this going to be it? Is this it? Yes, it is. This is the lineup that I want to see. If I just remove the comment there from AFC Always so you can see there. This is what I want to see. I want to see David Raya in goal, White, Saliba and Gabriel as the main back three. Kivior at left back because I think Zinchenko against, he was up against Salah last time. He's probably going to be up against Jared Bowen tomorrow. So I want to see someone who is a bit more of a defensive left back. I know we've not got the best of options, but I'm not going to get into that because you've heard me talk about that too many times. Kivior's our only option, so I'd probably play him at left back. Rice in midfield, of course. Emil Smith-Rowe is available. I want to see Smith-Rowe. I hope that he does, because I'm a big fan. I want to see him get the game time he needs. Odegaard, of course, as the attacking midfielder. Saka and Trossard, because of Martinelli's had a very disappointing game against Liverpool. I think it's about time he sits this one out. And Gabriel Jesus up front. So I've gone with a bit of rotation here. Yeah. Obviously, with Havertz suspended, we do have to make one change at least. What do you make of this lineup that I want to see?
I'll go from goalkeeper and upwards. So Raya, I thought was excellent against Liverpool, and some people might say, "Oh, that's rubbish. You don't know what you're talking about," right? But look, Raya for me. I said it on live commentary as well. Look, he was confident for me. He claimed his crosses. He escapes criticism for me on the goal because of where Salah exactly was. Because
Zinchenko was to blame for that goal being conceded rather than Raya.
Because he beat Zinchenko where he did, and he got so far into the penalty area. That shot was fierce, man. There's no way anyone was beating that. Yeah. As for the three that I would expect to see, White, Saliba, and Gabriel. Yeah, nailed on. Unless something's happened that I don't know about, I'd absolutely go with that. So Kivior at left back, look, it's what we called for Anfield. I don't think he's going to play there, but I think Zinchenko is going to be there again. But I get the thinking process. ESR's an interesting shout. I might have thought perhaps your man.
Now that I'm thinking about it, well, I've got the lineup, the what I think is going to happen lineup to show you, and I think that what's happening there is what I think you'll go for in midfield.
Because I think your man Trossard might play in it where ESR is. I think Martinelli retains his place. I think Jesus plays, of course he does, and Saka, of course. So that's probably what I think is going to happen. But I totally get your ideas and the reason for it, mate. I totally understand it. So, would you like to tell us what you? So that's what you think, or would you?
This is what I want to happen. This is what the lineup that I want to see. AFC always says he'd start Trossard over Martinelli tomorrow night, and he says 29 is suspended when he's in the team, and our captain doesn't perform in midfield. Look, Odegaard's had some good moments, but there have been times where people call him the ghost and everything. I think I'd still start him tomorrow. Anyway, this is what I think is going to happen. This is the lineup that I think Arteta will go for. He will probably have Zinchenko still at left back, and Martinelli will still be in midfield. With Havertz suspended, it'll be either Rice or Jorginho in the number 8 position, either or. But I would have the assumption Rice goes into the Xhaka role, Jorginho goes into the number 6, or the other way around.
Interesting. Oh, so we might have differing lineups completely, but yeah, for about 10 of that 11, I think I probably agree with it.
So keep in mind, this is what I think Arteta's going to do.
Yeah, no,
exactly. What I want to do.
I'll totally bear that in mind. We will see. Well, this time in about 23 and a half hours' time. There we go. So there we go. So we have got Mikel Arteta, 7th longest serving manager in England, against the 8th longest serving manager in England, in David Moyes at West Ham. The only ones above them guys in the Premier League, by the way, are Klopp, Guardiola, and Thomas Frank.
Okay.
It's interesting, isn't it? It makes you think about how trigger happy clubs are with dismissing managers. And I know Arteta's not everybody's favourite. Perhaps the gentleman to my left on this channel might not be Arteta's biggest fan.
So I at the start, I didn't want him to get the job in the first place. I've mentioned before, we had Ancelotti available when Emery got sacked. I would have got him instead, but we are where we are now. Arteta has had some good moments as manager, most notably the FA Cup win, but that was a long time ago now. He's only in not even his first full season. That was when he just took over, and I think questions will be asked if we bottle the league yet again and go trophyless again. I think that is going to be something that can't really be avoided. And even he's talked about how he was tempted, if this is true or not, he was tempted to walk at the end of last season because of the losing out on the league and everything. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But yeah, it's he's a manager that certainly divides opinion. And he has made a bit of some weird choices, especially his team talks. If you see in the All or Nothing documentary, when he talks about light bulbs and holding hands and everything, which is a bit weird. But anyway, AFC always says it'll be Raya, White, Zinchenko. Zinchenko at left back, White right back, Gabriel Saliba, Rice, Jorginho, Odegaard, Trossard, Jesus, and Saka. So you think Martinelli will be dropped? Okay. Again, that seems all right. I can see him playing Jorginho tomorrow.
Well, on the Martinelli point, let's bring this up now. That Arteta was, in his presser was sort of asked about him a little bit, and I think it from Arteta himself, he would say it was suggesting really that maybe he's making a few poor choices in his final, in his whether to shoot or pass or whatever. But whether it's a confidence thing with him, well, definitely not, according to Mikel. He was saying one thing he doesn't lack at all is confidence. So we'll see.
Well, he's not exactly going to say, is Martinelli lacking in confidence? He's not exactly going to say, yeah, he's been rubbish, hasn't he? He's not exactly going to say that. So,
yeah, what did Ramsdale say? I can't concentrate. So
yeah, that's him who said that. Arteta isn't going to say that. He's going to have to back his players. But look, Martinelli has he's had better performances in the Champions League than in the Premier League. But that's important because that's a very, very good competition. So, yeah. I like Martinelli. I think he does. He scored against Man City, let's not forget. But he had a bit of a stinker against Liverpool. Hopefully it won't be a consistent thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting to realise for some of the younger viewers that will be seeing this either live or on demand, that Arteta actually played under David Moyes when he was at Everton. So it'll be interesting to know how much he would have picked up from David. I would say David Moyes' stock was at his absolute highest when he was at Everton. That's the very reason he got the job at Old Trafford to replace Sir Alex Ferguson. But unfortunately, in the same way that we found it hard to replace Arsene Wenger, it continues to be the case at Old Trafford, I think. What do you think?
I mean, since Sir Alex left United, it's certainly not been the same. If anything, it's got worse almost year by year. Although United had a very an important win for us yesterday regarding us being at top spot. If we win against West Ham, that is. So yeah, that was a good win for them against Villa, who have been impressive this season.
So, it's definitely worth touching upon because Villa outclassed them for the first half, and
I'll be honest, I didn't watch the game because I was with the family on a Boxing Day. So, I only checked the scores on apps, but that's all I can really know. They were 2-0 up, Villa, and then 3-2 down. Højlund got a goal, so yeah.
The first in the Premier League. So, I was talking to my friend Jack, Jack Morley may or may not see this now, but it was United's. United came out very, very strong. I think the younger players, certainly the likes of Højlund, the Argentinian left-sided player, the Gameres, is that right? Garnacho. Thank you. Yeah, that really impressed me. I mean, even in the offside goal, the finish impressed me. But look, it was good performance and probably the perfect result for us. Wanting to see Villa drop back a little bit if they could, that would be just nice. But it won't mean anything really unless we get the result tomorrow. Well, that's what it's all about at the end of the day, isn't it, mate?
Absolutely, and that's tomorrow.
Absolutely, and myself and Sam Wilson will be there doing the live commentary, so you won't have to worry about the commentators sounding like Daleks like they did at Old Trafford last night. We're going to try something tomorrow. Honestly, they sounded like straight out of Doctor Who.
Behind me. Okay, I didn't see the game, but I just knew what the scoreline was. But I believe Unai Emery's boys got exterminated in the second half, by the looks of things. But yeah, it's the Gooner Gathering and Wrestle Dogs Alliance tomorrow.
Two worlds
collide. Unite.
Absolutely. Can I tell you? I have a latest score. This is going to cause shockwaves. It's Everton 1, Man City 0.
You know what?
29 minutes gone. So but it's Harrison has just got the goal literally moments ago.
You may have
missed quite a lot of opportunities. I think a double save from Pickford I've read about, but wow, is what I've got to say about that.
It's not a shock for me. I know this may sound like this is you've got no evidence of this. This is another Postradamus moment. I thought Everton would beat Man City tonight.
Did you really?
I predicted it to happen. I was going to go for 2-1, 2-0 because Gundogan and Mahrez. That's all I'm going to say there.
Oh yeah, completely agree. If you're looking at depth in squad, by the way, it's something we've spoken a little bit about, and I'm sure we're going to cover in just a minute because there's a little thing called a transfer window opening up very shortly, which Mikael did allude to a little bit today. But I just have a quick look at a Man City bench. Obviously, there is some class players there, of course. I mean, we know how good their goalkeeper is, Lewis, of course. Other than that, and Phillips, who never really plays for City, but always impressed at Leeds. But I mean, you've got very, very untried players, Premier League players there. Gomez, Bob, and I don't even know who 76 is. Susho. I have no idea. But there you go.
AFC always says, I'm not sure if I've asked this. How many points do you think it will take to win the Premier League? I'm going for 85 to 90 points. Yeah, it's around that. I mean, when City have been up there, it was around this amount of points to take to win the league. But the way things are going at the moment, I mean, who knows what Man City's situation is going to be come the end of the season? But I will
probably go slightly lower on it, but who knows? I'm not going to get my calculator out right now, mate. But I'll stick my neck out and say about 82. All right, so that's on record. Right, Posh. What I'm going to get you to do, because I think you've got it on your phone there. I'm going to put up the little thing we spoke about the January transfer window, courtesy of Arsenal.com, and you tell me your thoughts on this. So if I put that up there, would you like to go and read that for me, please?
So I've put out on my notes, Arteta says the club has certain targets and ideas for January and is concerned about the lack of squad depth. He says Arsenal will be prepared to make the right calls. On the screen here, it says having plans in place for January. We have certain targets and ideas if things happen. We don't know how the squad is going to be, and you have to be prepared for that. It's a very tricky market that shifts very quickly, and it's quite unpredictable as well. We will be prepared to try and make the right calls. And if he wishes for us to be active in the window, if there is something that we can improve, if there is something that we can improve the squad and needs something we can fulfill with players here, we are always going to be open to doing that because we want to be stronger. Arteta seems to confirm there is money to spend in January. We all know that Arsenal have bags of money. Depends how much we get to spend in January. As Lee Meadows says, don't get too excited.
Yeah, I will say this. I've been on record before on this channel a couple of weeks ago. Personally, I will be a little shocked. I'd love to see it if we go ahead and get some players in the window, because and who knows what goes on behind the scenes. All right, I certainly don't. I just report on what I see and what I think. All right, I certainly didn't see us going for Jorginho in January, but in this year, but it happened. It just seems a little odd. If the money was there to spend, why the heck didn't we get Raya as a full-time permanent transfer, so we didn't have to mess around with the goalkeeper situation against Brentford this season? That's just my view. Look, I hope we've got money to spend, and certainly Arteta is alluding to the fact that if there's a player out there that is better than what we already have, and that's the key thing. I don't think he just wants to bring on any old person for the sake of it. And you're going to say to me, but, he bought Jorginho in, right? But he bought Jorginho in for a purpose. It was having a leader behind the scenes and an experienced head at that in a very young Arsenal side, which is still quite young now, actually, who has the capability of changing the tactics and hitting the two pivotal midfielders. And people have talked, by the way, about Jorginho leaving in the January window. Not a chance. Absolutely not a chance. I think there's more chance of certainly fringe players or players that are already out on loan maybe making more of a permanent move. I'm thinking like Sammy Lokonga, who did get himself an assist over this game week, by the way.
I heard about this.
Yeah, it was an extraordinary game for Luton. Luton against Sheffield United. You need to watch the highlights on it if you haven't already. It was an extraordinary game. But look, who knows? I mean, I don't honestly see a lot of business. But look, I might come back over over on deadline day with that load of egg on my face. I don't mind that. I don't mind being wrong. This is why we put ourselves in front of camera, so we can make ourselves look silly. That's what we do, basically, isn't it? Oh, certainly.
Yeah. And bring up wrestling references too many times.
This is true. This is true. But I wouldn't have it any other way, frankly. Is there anything else that I need to bring up? I don't think there is, unless there's... Is there anything else you can think of, mate?
Not that I can think of. Static is in the chat. Good to see you, Static. We were just about to wrap things up, unfortunately. But listen, good to see you. Good to see you in the chat. He sent me a lovely message on Christmas Day saying thank you for the message on the Instagram story and everything, and Merry Christmas. So thank you, Static, for that 2 days ago.
Thank you very much, mate. That's really appreciated. Make sure you catch up with when we started. So it's a nice sharp sort of 50-odd minutes or so far. We won't be on for much longer. But
AFC always says if we get the right signings in January, that will make it a lot easier too. Right, I wouldn't get rid of Tomiyasu for a start because he's been very good for us. I know he's injury prone, but we'd get rid of Ramsdale, Cedric, Tomiyasu, in his opinion, El Neni and Nketiah in the summer. I think Ramsdale and Tomiyasu would probably, in my opinion, stay for the Ramsdale for the remainder of this season. Tomiyasu, he's not going anywhere, in my opinion. Cedric, El Neni, and Nketiah, on the other hand, take what we can get, really. I know you might not like that, Mr. Meadows, but with Nketiah, that's the case.
I think I made my point on our previous show. That I think there's a song that goes, "You don't know what you've got till it's gone," right? And with Eddie, look, I've personally got a lot of love for him, and it's not all to do with the fact he's a Highland boy, blah blah blah. No, it's not. It's because I quite like his the fact he's there. How can I put this? We're talking about big money to get strikers in, right? I don't think you realise the goal involvement and the amount that he actually brings to the club, and he's already there. I don't think it's likely in the slightest that Brentford are going to let our man Tony go. Certainly not in January. But
well, you'll see what happens. I just have a horrible feeling he's going to Tottenham in January if we're not careful. And you know what I've been like with predictions recently.
Yes, I do. I think there is one thing we have failed to mention, Posh, and maybe this will see us out for the hour. And this is obviously to do with the West Ham game. There's a handful of players I think we should probably talk about and highlight, right? Who are their biggest threats. So I think I want to give you the stage here because you've certainly been very vocal in certainly two of the players that I know you want to talk about, and perhaps one has who's adapted his position to turn into a centre forward himself. So. Stage is yours, sir.
So I mentioned two specific players earlier on this season as players who we should have signed instead of Kai Havertz. Those would being Mohamed Kudus or James Ward-Prowse. Ward-Prowse, I think, has been good for West Ham. We mentioned how good he is at set pieces. Kudus, though, I think has been one of their better players. You mentioned was it who did they play when Kudus got 2 goals? I can't remember.
I certainly remember talking about it a couple of weeks ago.
And you said he was fantastic, and he scored against us in the Carabao Cup. Jared Bowen as well as forward as well.
Against Man United, by any chance, Kudos? Might have been.
Scored 1 goal against United, and Bowen scored the other goal. That was against United. But
not Jim.
No, not related, I don't think. Hopefully he won't hit the bullseye tomorrow against us. But I think who was it that they played when Kudus got 2 goals? It was Wolves when they won 3-0.
Right.
So that's what It's not going to be an easy game, but we do have the home advantage, and we really should be winning it if we want to be contenders and we want to remain as title contenders. These are home games that we really need to win. Yes, it's going to be tough. I get that, but we need to be the better side. West Ham will be dangerous. They will have chances, especially with Kudus has now moved into like a forward position, quite similar to Trossard, really, where you can play him in any forward position, even in midfield, which I wanted him to do if he signed for us. But in terms of score predictions, I think we'll win 2-1. Or I think it'll be a tense game, especially when it comes to the final few minutes where our blood pressure is over 9,000. But I think it'll be 2-1 to Arsenal.
Well, before we disappear tonight, and Posh, you've been very praiseful of Tottenham quite throughout your time, and I'm not having a pop at you because you're quite right to do so because they're a serious threat. Let's not forget, and this is crediting West Ham before we even kick off, right?
Yeah,
they went to Spurs and beat them 2-1 when Spurs went 1-0 ahead. And the two players you just mentioned, Bowen, who has converted himself into a kind of makeshift striker because he's had to, and James Ward-Prowse. So look, we shall see. We shall see. Question to Lee. Okay, if Arteta.
You ask this you ask this in almost every video, I think. AFC always. This is to you. I'm going to do this. If Arteta doesn't win anything this season, do you agree that he needs to be sacked? The floor is yours, sir.
We are going to win something this year.
But what?
We shall see. But
yes.
I'm a bit like Merce. I don't want to say it out loud.
But Lee, we've already won the double this year. We've won
exactly.
The Shield.
Not forgetting the MLS Skills Challenge.
We've won the treble. We've already succeeded this season.
I mean, what do you want? Obviously, that's a joke. Get off your keypad. I can see you. Stop it. Look. Come back to me. Come back to me on that. Bertie, clip that. It says static.
What, mentioning we won the treble this season?
No, he means clip it when I said we're going to win it. That's what he means. Wow.
Yeah.
What we'll do, listen. I think we're actually in a really good position. I actually feel we're stronger than we were last season. All right. And that's me being real with you. And I honestly think that there's going to be something burning inside them guys who came so close last season to wanting to get it over the line, and it's been so long. It's been so long. But look, who knows? Who knows? We will see. We got a fair chunk of the season still to go. Look, we're coming out of this really busy Christmas period in pretty good shape. Let's hope that will continue tomorrow at the Emirates against West Ham. I just wanted to double check the kickoff time because then that will determine when I say we'll be on air. So I would expect us to start around about 8 o'clock tomorrow. I will say this to you all now. It might be a noisy stream tomorrow because obviously I'll have to be in the other room. I'll have my daughter with me. I'll have my wife with me as well. Sam Wilson from Wrestle Dogs will be joining us as well. Big up to Sam, who did a phenomenal job on his stream earlier on today. If you haven't seen that, subscribe to Wrestle Dogs. It's in our community page. Give them some support. They are fantastic. Now, shall we do it, Posh? Talking of wrestling, shall we do it? Shall we go for the bonus?
If you're up for it, that'd be fantastic. That will be on our Twitch channel.
So, what I will say to you all, ladies and gentlemen, after a quick break here, we are going to come to an end here on YouTube for our football-related shenanigans, come back to us on the Twitch channel, which Bertie has put up.
I'll get you comment in a minute.
Probably in about 5-10 minutes, where we'll do a special unplanned kind of retro watch along on a bit of wrestling. I won't go too further into that, but I think it might be clobbering time. So, with that being said, comments.
So that being said, Static says, Bertie and Lee, I'll watch this on playback later. In response to Lee, yes, we are marginally better defensively, but offensively, we've got to score more goals again for fun, especially after the Christmas period. I actually agree with you. I think we've been a bit more, a bit more solid defensively. I think that's more with us having Saliba in the team, I reckon. Everton are currently winning 1-0 against City. We know that. I predicted this. I said 2-1.
News update. John Stones is now off injured.
Yes, I saw this.
And best wishes to John Stones, phenomenal player. One has come leaps and bounds over the last sort of year or so. So, in all fairness and all competitive spirit and everything, wishing him well as one of England's key players. So, all right, Static, we're about to go as well, my man. So, thank you for popping in and supporting us. Maybe we can have you on the channel one day as well, my friend. But what we will do, if you've got the back end, Bosch, if you wanted to take the socials up, let me throw it to you first of all. Would you like to tell them where they can find you on X and the Instagrams?
You can find me on X at Posh Bertie. My Instagrams are at Bertie Wanless and at Gooner Gathering.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much, AFC, always for your lovely comment. You can find me at Goonly Mead. You can find us running the X account for Gooner Gathering at Gooner Gathering, also on the TikTok with all them silly little clips with the sneaky little wrestling references in as well. Twitch.tv/Gooner Gathering is where you'll find us probably about 9:15 for a bonus little 15-20 minutes odd stream. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here and supporting the channel. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you on the YouTube tomorrow. See you soon.